One of the most fun things leading up to the Oscars is everyone's last-minute Oscar predictions. In this video, I'm giving my predictions in each of the 23 Oscar categories. I could be so wrong in so many of these. Hey, it's Ryan here with a little bit of movie talk. Alright, I'm just gonna go through the Oscar categories one by one and share my prediction for the winner. Here we go. Alright, the first category we're jumping into is animated feature film. So the nominees in that category are Encanto, Flea, Luca, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and Raya and the Last Dragon. Really loved The Mitchells vs. the Machines. I thought that was such a great and fun movie, but I am definitely going with Encanto in this category. It's definitely the front runner, and I think for all of the Academy members that have children, they might get in trouble if they don't choose Encanto. So yeah, so for animated feature film, I'm going with Encanto. Next up, we have documentary feature, and the nominees for that category are Ascension, Attica, Flea, Summer of Soul, and Writing with Fire. This one's kind of a tough one. I know that Summer of Soul probably has the momentum right now. It's been winning a lot of awards lately, but I also think Flea has a really good shot. And Flea made history, being the only film that's ever been nominated for all three categories: animated feature film, documentary feature, and international feature film. So there's definitely some support for that film, and I think if it's gonna win in documentary. And I think there's a consensus around that, so for everyone who likes Flea, I think documentary feature is where they're going to award that film. So for documentary feature, I'm going to go with Flea. Next up, we have international feature film. And so the nominees are Drive My Car, Flea, The Hand of God, Lunana, A Yak in the Classroom, and The Worst Person in the World. I think it's definitely between Drive My Car and The Worst Person in the World, would be my guess. Both of them are great, but Drive My Car, it has more nominations overall. It's picked up a lot of momentum in the last month or two. Drive My Car is definitely the front runner in this category, and I think it's gonna win. So yeah, for international feature film, I'm going with Drive My Car. All right, moving on to the shorts. We have animated short film. The nominees for animated short film are Affairs of the Art, Bestia, Box Ballet, Robin Robin, and The Windshield Wiper. I've actually seen a lot of people predicting Bestia to win lately, but I think my choice is going to be Robin Robin. It's the more uplifting one, it's the more lighthearted film of these shorts, and I think oftentimes in this category people gravitate toward the more uplifting film, and so yeah, I'm going to stick with Robin Robin for animated short film. Documentary short subject, we have the nominees Audible, Lead Me Home, The Queen of Basketball, 3 Songs for Benazir, and When We Were Bullies. So I've been hearing a lot of people talking about Audible and The Queen of Basketball. Both of them are really good. The Queen of Basketball I thought was fascinating, and it was such a fun watch. Audible is definitely more serious. It tackles a very heavy subject, and being on Netflix is definitely accessible. So I'm gonna go with the obvious choice here and go with Audible. And with shorts, you never know. I am constantly surprised every year by what wins, most of the time. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Audible for documentary short subject. Which brings us to live action short film. For live action short film, we have, and I'm gonna totally botch this pronunciation, Ala Kachu, Take and Run, The Dress, The Long Goodbye, On My Mind, and Please Hold. And so my pick for this is The Long Goodbye. It stars Riz Ahmed. It was super powerful. After it ended, I just had to sit there and just process what I saw. I've also recently heard that Please Hold could be getting a lot of votes as well, so that's kind of on my radar, but I'm gonna stick with The Long Goodbye for live action short film. All right, moving on to the music and sound categories. First up, we have original score. The nominees here are Don't Look Up, Dune, Encanto, Parallel Mothers, and The Power of the Dog. For this one, I really think it's going to be between Dune and The Power of the Dog. Both have incredible scores. Johnny Greenwood's score for The Power of the Dog, I think, is so good. It's brilliant. It's very haunting, and it just supports the story in the movie so well. But in Dune, Hans Zimmer's score is definitely incredible, and just the music and the sound, just the whole audio experience for that movie was such just a key part of that film. This one's actually a hard one for me. I'm just going back and forth between Dune and The Power of the Dog, but I think the Academy might be ready to hand Hans Zimmer another Oscar, and I think that one is going to be the one to win. So yeah, I'm going to go with Dune for original score. Original song, we have Be Alive from King Richard, Dos Oruguitas from Encanto, Down to Joy from Belfast, No Time to Die from No Time to Die, and Somehow You Do from Four Good Days. Well, first of all, Bond movies have had a lot of success at the Oscars in recent years, so it's really hard to count that one out. I think No Time to Die very well could win. Also, Dos Oruguitas from Encanto. Encanto's soundtrack has been very popular. We Don't Talk About Bruno wasn't submitted for a nomination here, but I think Dos Oruguitas could ride that wave of popularity that's coming from We Don't Talk About Bruno. And I think it could really benefit from that. So it's definitely the most popular soundtrack. It's a beautiful song. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with Dos Oruguitas for original song. Now for best sound, we have Belfast, Dune, No Time to Die, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. And I already mentioned how pivotal the sound is in Dune, and it was just incredible. Dune has really been racking up the sound awards, and I think this is one of the easier categories to call. Yeah, I'd be shocked if anyone but Dune won this category. So for sound, I'm going with Dune. All right, next up we have costume design. So the nominees in this category are Cruella, Cyrano, Dune, Nightmare Alley, and West Side Story. So definitely a lot of good nominees here. Dune could be really competitive here for sure, and I wouldn't be shocked if Dune won. But Cruella's been winning a lot of costume design awards lately. Just the whole, the major theme of fashion running through that film even more boosts the chances here. So I'm gonna go with Jenny Beavan and her work in Cruella for costume design. Moving on to production design, we have Dune, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story. And these are a lot of great nominees, a lot of different types of sets here, some really strong contenders. I think it could go to Nightmare Alley, it could go to West Side Story. Power of the Dog has a ton of nominations and it's really strong in a lot of categories, but I don't think it's gonna win here. I think it's gonna be between Nightmare Alley and Dune, and I think if the Academy votes for something a little more nostalgic, they're gonna go with Nightmare Alley, but I think just the world building and just the immersiveness in Dune is gonna win out. So for production design, I'm gonna go with Dune. All right, next up we have makeup and hairstyling. The nominees are Coming to America, Cruella, Dune, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and House of Gucci. All right, again, Dune is gonna be a strong player here. Could definitely take home the Oscar. The Eyes of Tammy Faye is also a really strong contender. I actually love the duo of Jessica Chastain and the makeup team here. They did a phenomenal job. And I think between the two, Jessica Chastain and the makeup team, they really brought the character of Tammy Faye to life in that film. Not to give a spoiler for an upcoming category, but I see this award going right in tandem with Jessica Chastain. So yeah, I'm gonna say The Eyes of Tammy Faye for makeup and hairstyling. I'm gonna pause right here for just a sec. If you're enjoying this video, then I would love it if you hit that like button so that this video can spread to more people. I would really appreciate it. All right, back to the predictions. So moving on to visual effects, we have Dune, Free Guy, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Spider-Man No Way Home. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings was really good. I thought the visual effects were really great there. But the frontrunner here, no doubt, is Dune. The visual effects are stunning. The awards it's won already have been very well deserved. Dune is definitely walking into the Oscars being the frontrunner in this category, and I don't see an upset happening in visual effects. So for this category, I'm gonna go with Dune. All right, next up we have film editing. So the nominees in this category are Don't Look Up, Dune, King Richard, The Power of the Dog, and Tick Tick Boom. So King Richard won an ace, but I don't see King Richard factoring in here probably. Could be totally wrong. The Power of the Dog, Don't Look Up, both great editing there. I actually just watched a behind the scenes video of what went into the editing of Dune. When you see what happened and what took place to make a movie so good, it just gives you such a deep appreciation for the work that went on. And so having seen that, I think the editing in Dune is incredible. And the way they use different editing techniques and styles to strengthen the story and to convey key parts of the story is just really incredible. So I do think Dune has a really good shot here. I definitely would love to see Dune winning. So it's kind of a head and heart choice here. So for film editing, I'm going with Dune. All right, next up we have cinematography. So for cinematography, the nominees are Dune, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story. Whew, geez, some good nominees here. I think it's gonna come down to The Power of the Dog or Dune. Strong cinematography in both of those. Ari Wegner, she is the second woman nominated for this category, and if she were to win, she would be the first female winner for cinematography. And so there's a great narrative there, and I would not be surprised at all if she won. Greg Fraser, though, for Dune, has been racking up the awards. I think he's probably the front runner going into the Oscars now. I think it very well could be Dune. My head is telling me Dune, but my heart is telling me The Power of the Dog. Head or heart, head or heart. I don't even know. It could go either way. Okay, so for cinematography, I think I'm gonna follow my heart on this one and go The Power of the Dog. I could regret that. Okay, we'll see. Okay, so The Power of the Dog for cinematography. All right, moving on to the writing categories. For adapted screenplay, we have Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, The Lost Daughter, and The Power of the Dog. So Coda's won a couple adapted screenplay awards lately, but I'm still gonna say The Power of the Dog. Yeah, this one's another hard one. I think it's gonna be between Coda and The Power of the Dog, but I think The Power of the Dog will end up winning this category. So for adapted screenplay, going Power of the Dog. For original screenplay, we have Belfast, Don't Look Up, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, and The Worst Person in the World. So this category is between Belfast and Licorice Pizza. Really, it's between Kenneth Branagh and Paul Thomas Anderson. Both of them have been nominated a lot, and neither have ever won. So Paul Thomas Anderson has had 11 Oscar nominations now and never won, and Kenneth Branagh has had 8, I believe, now and never won. And so I could definitely see it going to Licorice Pizza. Rewarding PTA is definitely something that needs to happen at some point. But this year, I think it's going to be Kenneth Branagh. I think Belfast is going to win Best Original Screenplay. So out of all 7 Belfast nominations, I think this is the only one that it has a likely chance of winning. So if Academy members are looking to award Belfast, this is where it'll happen, I think. So for Original Screenplay, I'm going with Belfast. All right, now we're getting to the acting categories. For actor in a supporting role, we have Kieran Hines, Troy Kotsur, Jesse Plemons, J.K. Simmons, and Cody Smith-McPhee. So pretty much the entire award season, this category has been a race between 2 different people, Troy Kotsur and Cody Smith-McPhee. Cody Smith-McPhee, I think, had the early momentum, but has kind of fallen a bit recently. Troy Kotsur definitely has the momentum now. I would say he's the front runner going into the Oscars, so I'm gonna stick with him. I think he'd be a really fun winner. I think he's definitely deserving. He's definitely the heart of the movie. He was so good in Coda. And so for actor in a supporting role, I'm gonna go with Troy Kotsur. All right, and for actress in a supporting role, we have Jessie Buckley, Ariana DeBose, Judi Dench, Kirsten Dunst, and Anjanou Ellis. A lot of great nominees here. Anjanou Ellis, so good. Kirsten Dunst, always love her. And I would love Kirsten Dunst to get an Oscar at some point. She definitely deserves it. So many good roles throughout her career. But this category seems like it's one of the easiest to predict at this point. Ariana DeBose has won pretty much every precursor award leading up to the Oscars. And I don't see her streak ending. So she was wonderful in West Side Story. I don't think there's anything that can stop her winning at this point. I'd be pretty shocked if Ariana did not win. So for actress in a supporting role, I'm going Ariana DeBose. Now we've got actor in a leading role. Nominees here are Javier Bardem, Benedict Cumberbatch, Andrew Garfield, Will Smith, and Denzel Washington. All really great performances. I think my personal pick would be Andrew Garfield. I think he was just fabulous in Tick, Tick, Boom. He was so good. And I would love if he were to win. I think if he did win, it would be kind of a surprise, but I would love that. Benedict Cumberbatch is also a critic favorite. He's gotten a lot of critic awards, but right now it's Will Smith. He's won all the big precursor awards. He was phenomenal in King Richard. He did a great job. Kind of like Ariana DeBose, I don't think there's really anything stopping him at this point. So on Oscar night, I think it's going to be Will Smith for actor in a leading role. All right, and now we have actress in a leading role, which throughout the award season has been one of the more interesting categories to watch, to say the least. Yeah, it has been all over the place. And so out of the nominees listed here, Jessica Chastain, Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, and Kristen Stewart. I mean, Kristen Stewart was a front runner at one point. Nicole Kidman was a front runner at one point. Lady Gaga was the front runner at one point and didn't even get a nom. But Jessica Chastain has had the late game momentum. She did such a great job portraying Tammy Faye Baker. Not only do I think she's going to be rewarded for this role, but I think it's going to be a nod to some of her other roles that she should have been nominated for or even won an Oscar for in the past. She's just had a great career already. For this role, I think she's definitely deserving. You know, it could go a lot of different ways. We know the Academy loves Olivia Colman. This is her third nomination since 2018. She has a chance. Penelope Cruz is great. That'd be a really fun shock if Penelope Cruz won. The way this actress in a leading role race has gone this season, nothing would be a shock at this point. But I do think Jessica Chastain has the momentum, and I do think she will be the winner. So for actress in a leading role, I'm gonna go Jessica Chastain. All right, next up we have the nominees for directing. So we have Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, we have Ryosuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, we have Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog, and Steven Spielberg for West Side Story. All really good films, all really good directors, but this race has been Jane Campion's to lose for a while now. She was phenomenal. The Power of the Dog is just such a well-crafted film, and her work is just undeniable. I would be super shocked if she did not win the Oscar for directing. Yeah, so for this category, I'm definitely going Jane Campion, The Power of the Dog. Last category, Best Picture. We have Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. Oh, goodness gracious. So, really early on, Belfast was the front runner. Then The Power of the Dog was a front runner for quite a while. Most recently, Coda has been gaining a lot of momentum. I've seen a lot of people predicting Coda. And, I mean, it is the more uplifting choice. I mean, if Academy members are wanting to choose a film that is just really heartwarming, is really uplifting, that just makes us feel good when we watch it, like Coda is that option. The Power of the Dog with its 12 nominations, I mean that alone shows the support that it has across the Academy. It's definitely not an uplifting story, but I think it is just such a well-crafted film. I think the mixture of the acting nominations that it got and the technical nominations are a good sign for The Power of the Dog. Even though Coda has had a lot of momentum lately, I'm still gonna stick with The Power of the Dog. I still see a path for Belfast here, but I don't know how likely that is. I wouldn't be shocked if it won, but I think the most likely movie to win at this point is The Power of the Dog. So for Best Picture, I am going with The Power of the Dog. All right, so there are my Oscar predictions. And if you want to watch more about all of the Best Picture nominees, I created an entire playlist just talking about those movies. I'll link to that playlist at the end of this video, so be sure to check that out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.